Hello, and welcome to another Steering Wheel Nation Spotlight. My name is Tom Baker, and we are joined today on this particular edition of the Spotlight by Kate Dillon from the Cars Racing Show, if you will. It is a cars trade show, I guess I should more correctly call it. This is a show that's coming up in Hickory, North Carolina this coming weekend, and wanted to have Kate on and talk a little bit about the show, because this is actually not just a local show. This is a bigger show, and the show itself gets bigger every year. And it's always one of my favorite shows. Last year, I wasn't able to be there because I wasn't feeling well, but looking forward to going back this year. Kate, welcome to Steering Wheel Nation. And want to talk a little bit about, first of all, tell me about the genesis of this show, and then talk about what you're doing with it now.
Absolutely. And Tom, thank you so much for having me on your show. I definitely appreciate it. And the Cars Racing Show, it actually, the first iteration was back in 2011. It was my dad and my brother and Clint Elkins that put together a racing trade show in Hickory. Yep. And they called it Carolina Auto Racing Show, which CARS for short, because you know how many things in racing where we love our acronyms. So the show kind of died or died down after 2013 and didn't bring it back. But when COVID hit and we all knew that there was just PRI was not going to be able to happen because it was such a big show. I mean, especially in 2020, you could not bring 50 or 60,000 people together. But we felt like there would be this giant gap in our whole industry if there wasn't some kind of show. And so with my brother and I both having racing businesses, my brother is Jimmy Schultz from Dirt Rap, and then my day-to-day is Crate Insider. We both have racing businesses, and so we worked together. My brother had a lot of experience with the convention center and the logistics and all of that, and we brought it back in 2020 because we just felt like there was going to be a giant gap in the market. And then after that, people really liked it, and so we decided to do it again. And so now this is the third show of what I would call the reboot. So since 2020, and that was in December, and then it was January of 2022, just a year and a month. And then this is our 2023, so our third of the reboot. And that's why we call it CARS, because it was originally Carolina Auto Racing Show, but now it's just Cars Racing Show.
Well, which makes sense, of course, and everything is an acronym today anyway. So that's kind of the way we roll now. So this show is actually a 2-day show. It begins this Friday, January the 6th. It runs from 11 to 6, and then Saturday from 9 to 5. So it's a 2-day show. I know that I've been asked in the past, why don't they do it on Sunday as well? Talk a little bit about why you chose Friday and Saturday, because I feel like these are better days to have the show, but I also understand that maybe, for some folks, Sunday would be better for them as well with their schedules and work schedules and all of that. So how did you arrive at these dates?
Well, a couple reasons. One, it's Sunday in the South, so go to church on Sundays. Yeah. But also we have several of our exhibitors who travel from quite a ways in order to make it to our show. And in January especially is an incredibly busy time for any of us who sell racing parts or pieces. And it's so much harder for us to be out on a Monday. And, we've got exhibitors coming down from Pennsylvania, from Iowa, they're coming a long ways. So if they can leave, Saturday, early evening. So, the show's done at 5, they can be loaded up and on the road by 7, they can be sleeping in their own beds. It's, real late night, but they can wake up and be back to work on Monday morning. Another reason too, is we tend to be very much a business to business show as well. And so a lot of folks do business together on Friday. And then of course, racers that work during the week can come on that Saturday. It's the same reason we don't have a lot of races on Sundays down here in the South either. So we didn't see a reason to have a racing trade show on a Sunday either.
Well, and I agree with that. I think but I wanted to address that because I know I've heard the question before. So, okay, now you started to answer my next question, which was going to be, what type of a show is this? Because again, some shows are more sort of fan oriented, a lot of memorabilia for sale, that kind of thing, trade show, auction, whatever. And then some are more focused on racers and businesses that are involved in the sport as either all of or part of their existence. So talk about what kind of a show your show is. Who is it for?
Absolutely. It's for racers, first and foremost, but obviously fans are welcome as well. We'll have several of our exhibitors will have racers in their booths signing autographs. You know, a lot of times racers are fans of other racers too.
Yep.
But I know racing is a very broad topic. You have everything from go-karts to Formula One and everything in between, and off-road and power sports and boats. And there's so much when you just talk about racing. What we would primarily say is we are a circle track show. That is dirt and asphalt, but primarily the regular size cars. We'd like to get a little bit more of the mini sprints and go-karts in our show, but truthfully, we're a lot more focused on dirt late models, modified, street stock, some asphalt, definitely some asphalt circle track coming in. You know, I know there's going to be some new and innovative products that are going to be released at the show. And so I really don't like to give up people's secrets, but especially for the asphalt guys, I know that there's some exciting stuff that's going to be released at our show as well.
Well, we like new and innovative. So look forward to seeing and hearing all about that this weekend. And you did say it was a circle track show, which I think is an important distinction, because we do have a growing sort of road course base in this area. And it's not that you're excluding them on purpose. It's just always kind of been a circle track focused show. I know that you would love to expand it and open it up to all kinds of motorsports in this region going forward, if anybody wants to be a part of it.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason we're primarily a circle track show is just based on our own personal networks. My brother, being dirt rap, he's done raps for race cars for many, many years, over 20 plus years. And so those were his contacts. And then my day to day is working with manufacturers. I deal with the crate engines, so the crate racing, and it's all about like expanding your network little bit by little bit. And of course, we're always willing and open to bringing in, different facets of racing. There's so much racing here in North Carolina. And what's exciting is just all of the racing. If you look in a 3-hour proximity of Hickory, North Carolina, I mean, it's massive, the number of tracks that are around here, which is another thing. We have tracks and series that will be at the show, releasing their schedules, being able to have that direct access to talk about rules packages, so there's a lot of that technical pieces as well. And we haven't even talked about my favorite part, and the fact that racers can come to the show and buy things right off of the show floor, put them in their truck, and take them home and put them on the race cars. With the price of shipping today, I mean, I ship out of here every single day. I know how much shipping is, and it's crazy. So you'll be able to come as a racer and be able to get a bunch of parts. If you're trying to work on your car or putting a new car together, that's going to be exciting. And if you're shopping for a chassis, there's no better place, because we have all of these chassis manufacturers that are all lined up. So you could go and look at this chassis and how did they do that part on the right front, and then you look at this one over here. So, you can really make your determination on the things that you like, or comparing the good things or differences, and being able to see it right there rather than trying to kind of figure it out at the racetrack. It's a lot of fun to be able to have it right there.
Well, exactly. And this time of the year, right after the holidays, is the exact right time, because you want to obviously start working on the car and finish it up. And a lot of racetracks in this area start their season even in late February or March. So now's the time to kind of get your stuff bought and get it ready for the season.
Yes. Yeah. And, obviously there's several of the exhibitors will have show specials, get different deals, a lot of different giveaways going on at the show as well. And I don't think I even know about them all. We've tried to catalog some of them. If we've been informed of them, put them up on our website. So our website is carsracingshow.com. And we have a section under there for attendees, and you can see the different promos that are going on right now. And a floor plan, a list of exhibitors. It's all right there on our website at carsracingshow.com.
That's awesome. And of course, this show, as you said, has been going on under your direction for a few years now. What does the future look like? I mean, it seems to get a little bigger every year. What are your goals for the future with the show? Because I feel like this show borders on, it's already not just a local show, but I feel like it borders on being a very large regional show if it keeps elevating the way that it has been over the past few seasons.
Oh, I agree. I mean, we want to keep moving forward. You know, we really thought back there in 2020, we were doing it just to fill a need, you know, that, you know, anytime you sit around and think, man, somebody should go ahead and do something, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm that somebody. And as long as we're getting the excellent feedback and the exhibitors are, you know, on board, you know, we'll keep on doing the show. And, you know, and continue to try to make it better and more efficient and all of that, kind of that first weekend in January, you know, after New Year's. So we've already got our dates for 2024, which I can't remember what they are right now, but we'll have that out. And, you know, as long as the feedback continues to be positive and it seems to be something that's adding value to our racing community, we want to keep on doing it.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a moment. We'll come back to the show, but I want to talk about Crate Insider and talk about the dirt circuit in this area and in this region. First of all, for those who may not be familiar with Crate Insider, what is it?
Oh, I sell race car parts online. That's what I do. I sell race car parts most specifically for racers who are running a GM 602, GM 604, or a CT 525 engine. A little more so on the dirt side than asphalt. I ship parts all over the country. But beyond that, it's not just like it's not just throwing a dart and just picking random stuff out of catalog to put up on my website. It's very targeted. And one thing we have with crate engines, if people who aren't familiar, is they're a limited horsepower engine. So what we want to try to do with those is you can't really out horsepower the next guy. So you got to try to find ways to either take away the friction, to lighten things up, you know. It's crossing all of the T's and dotting all of the I's, and it is finding the best of the best products for these particular applications. And so that's what I reach out and do and try to find the best manufacturers with the best products. We do quite a few product videos and testing and all of those different things to try to find the best of the best. I work very closely with Hendren Racing Engines. We've actually partnered together on many of these things. And in fact, I do a podcast on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Crate Insider YouTube and Facebook pages. And it's called the Racing Insiders Podcast, or you can find it on iTunes like the next day. But we just take questions live. I'm not an engine builder, but Steve Hendren is, and he's my co-host on that show. So we take all those different questions, and that's a very laid back show. There's a little bit of beer drinking and a whole lot of swearing involved. Just heads up on that. That's the reality of that show. But we do try to provide some good, solid technical information so that racers can make the best possible decisions to have the best program possible.
Talk about a little bit about where you see the dirt circuit going into 2023. I mean, obviously, the past few years really have been in many ways difficult on the entirety of the motorsports community. I think particularly at the short track level with all of the kind of the supply chain issues, parts availability, costs going out of sight of tires and parts of all kinds. But you're obviously very inside the dirt circuit in particular in this region. Talk about how you see that shaping up going into 2023.
I would say that, obviously 2020 presented its own challenges and with lockdowns and everything. And with that, we definitely saw people that were like, man, if we can race, we're going to race. And they went after it. And then in 2021, then it was the idea of, well, if I can get it, I'm going to buy it. because it could be the last one. so we definitely had a lot of scrambling for parts because I've amped up my inventory so much I had to go get a building, and which is, had to expand. Obviously, we've seen we've seen a bit of decline in at least the crate market in 2022. Largely, the feedback I'm hearing is largely because of fuel and tires. And now that I think that prices have normalized, once inflation sticks, it sticks. And then we get used to whatever the new, whatever it is. And so I would say that we'd probably be somewhere in the mid-range in 2023. I expect more growth over 2022, but not necessarily. We had a lot of fake money out there in 2021. Honestly, that's reality. But the supply chain has definitely eased up. That has been it's nice to be able to order something and get it. There are still challenges with certain part numbers that I have on my website. I'm still challenged with some of them, but for the most part, it's really eased up. Now, this is just some general advice, no matter what year it is, even in the before times, it's January. Order early. If you think that you're going to race in February and you're going to order pretty much anything like the last week of January, good luck. This is when the orders start stacking up and these manufacturers get overwhelmed. So just try to be very cognizant of that and get ahead of it. That's just my little PSA for the day.
Well, and that's just from a business standpoint, that's just wise anyways. You don't want to be last minute. Get out ahead of it and give yourself time to get the part in so you can get it on the car and go racing. Okay. So let's talk about, first of all, before we switch back to the show, where can fans, listeners, viewers, anyone in our audience, how can they find Crate Insider?
CrateInsider.com. You type Crate Insider on Google, and I will be first page on any number of things. So whether it's CrateInsider.com, our website, we have a YouTube channel, we have a Facebook page, we have Instagram. We also have a TikTok. I'm on Twitter, not really, but there's an account over there. We're everywhere. All of the socials, very easy to find. Just type in Crate Insider and you'll find one of our pages or channels.
Okay, so let's go back to the show. Is there anything that's really unique and special going on at the show that we need to know about? And maybe you can tell us about a few of the bigger folks who are going to be on hand there.
Sure. One thing that's exciting is this year we partnered with Race Know-How, and Race Know-How will be doing it's actually a paid seminar on Friday and Saturday both. And a person can find out about their seminars on raceknowhow.com and the times and everything. So there's still time to shop, but part of getting ahead in racing is, I'd love to say it's just all about parts, but it's not just the parts. It's how you set up your race car. And Jonathan Masters, he does an incredible job of really pulling a team together to teach people how to set up their cars properly. So I would check that. That's something unique. It's actually his first live class. Race Know-How is a membership site where Jonathan continues to produce videos with different experts in the field. Maybe it's like how to use a shock dyno or how to set up your front end. I'm just kind of making up a couple of things there, but it's a very extensive library on car setup. And so this will be really exciting to have an in-person class where the students there can ask questions right there on hand. So it is it's a separate paid seminar that you can buy through Race Know-How. And as far as names go, we've got a lot of great exhibitors that are coming down in a lot of different categories. So like we mentioned about the chassis manufacturers. So, just even in the realm of dirt late model chassis, we've got Longhorn coming, and we have Warrior race cars, Laser chassis. I'm trying to not forget anybody, but it happens sometimes. So then on the street stock side, we've got Project X race cars. We also have Missile chassis. So that's exciting as well. So there's quite a few of those folks there.
Well, looking forward to being there and checking it all out on Friday, and excited that once again it is time for the Cars Racing Show. That means we've just started the new year and everything's fresh, and we're all looking forward to sort of getting winter out of the way so we can go racing again. And so tell us where can we find information about the show? And remind us again of the days and the hours, please.
Sure. And a really good thing to know, too, is a lot of people think, oh, is this at a racetrack somewhere? It is not. It is at the Hickory Metro Convention Center. So regardless of what the weather is, we have a covered, it's a nice convention center. I would call it like Goldilocks size. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's like just right. So the Hickory Metro Convention Center, very easy to find. It's exit 125 off of I-40 right there in Hickory, North Carolina. So, if you're coming up or down I-77 or cross 85, either all you need to do is get to I-40 and it'll be exit 125 in North Carolina. And our show hours, again, 11 to 6 on Friday and then 9 to 5 on Saturday. Tickets, if you want to get them online, will be cheaper and you can skip the line. So the tickets are only $10 online, and you just go to carsracingshow.com and click on the Get Tickets button, and there'll be $10 online. You'll get an email, and we'll be able to scan that QR code, print out your badge right there, and you'll be able to get in very easily. Otherwise, it's $15 at the door. You can easily buy tickets at the door, but if you wanted to save time and save a few dollars, get them in advance. That it helps everybody out. It just makes the process so much smoother than anything else.
100%. Well, appreciate you joining us here on Steering Wheel Nation, Kate, and look forward to being a part of the show this weekend, and good luck with everything, and Crate Insider as well. So that has been Kate Dillon. It has been great to talk to her today. For more great content, visit our website, steeringwheelnation.com, or at The Wheel Nation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our community platform just about to launch, so we're excited about that. And of course, our quarterly print and digital magazine is just launched as well. Just go to steeringwheelnation.com and you'll see a big subscription box. It'll take you right to the magazine's page. Check it out and subscribe so you don't miss an issue. We will have a little bit of a feature about this show in the next issue of the magazine that comes out in late February. So excited about that. And again, Kate, thank you for joining us here on Steering Wheel Nation. My name is Tom Baker. And again, until next time, this has been a Steering Wheel Nation Spotlight. Thanks for joining us.